Alright, Shalom, Shalom. I want to give all praise to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem. All praise. I want to give all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there, spreading this truth like wildfire. Spreading this truth like wildfire in all truthfulness and in all sincerity. And shalom to the real sisters. Shalom to the rest of the elect out there. Alright, which would include the real sisters. Shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. I hope this live is edifying to y'all. Alright, so I'm tired of this live. Well, it's a video. My bad. I usually be doing lives, but I haven't got the ability to go live yet on this channel. But this video is gonna be titled "Doth Not Even Nature Show You?" Cause I was meditating on the basically on the Shabbat and the new moon and all that, and basically the sunset to sunset deal, right? And FYI, it's Shabbat. Right now it started this evening. But yeah, I was meditating on that, and made me think of that scripture, which goes into something else, but goes to show you, man, and nature 100, I'm gonna get this scripture right here, so where it says, basically that's where I got that phrase from. 1 Corinthians 11 and 14. Doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? Yeah, man, doth not even nature teach you, man? Like, nature teach you, man, like, if a man have long hair, it's a shame unto him. Verse 15, but if a woman have long hair, it's a glory unto her, for her hair is given her for a covering. And that's like an example of something that nature shows you. But another example is I would say would be when does the day start? When does the year? When does the day start? Like, and end? When does the month start and end? And when does the year start and end? And it's obvious in nature, you know, when it starts and when it ends. It's obvious. You know, like for the days, right? Start off with the days. Sunset to sunset, right? Let me get that. Sunset to sunset. Sunset to sunset. KJV. You know, for example, the Sabbath, right? The Sabbath day. Specifically right here speaking of the Day of Atonement. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th day of the month. The 9th day of the month at even, from even unto even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. Yep. Which Day of Atonement goes into a day of fasting. It's a day of fasting to basically it goes into the atonement of our sins back in the before Yahushai. You would hold on. Nowadays we know we keep it in remembrance of Yahushai's sacrifice, but before it was it actually went into like making. Let me just get Leviticus 23 and 28. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before Yahweh your power. So, yeah, man. Yeah. More went into it. Well, let me get it. Leviticus 23 and 27. Also on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offering made by fire unto Yahweh. So that's what that went into, man. But yeah, it was from the whole point, right? From evening to evening. And by the way, that's still in place, verse 31. Ye shall do no manner of work, it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. Alright, so anyways, hold on. Basically though, evening to evening, right? Sunset to sunset. It's a day, man. The 7th day. The actual 7th day. Yeah, let me get this. Leviticus 23 and 3, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, unholy convocation, Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of Yahweh in all your dwellings. Yep. And hold on. The way convocation comes from the Latin convocare, meaning to call, come together. Translation of the Greek ecclesia, which is the word there for church as well. It's a group of people, like where it says church in the scriptures. In the Greek, it says ecclesia. In the Greek Greek manuscripts that they translated it to English from, it would say ecclesia. It's a group of people that they elect. Come on. It's a group of people formally assembled for a special purpose, mostly ecclesiastical or academic. Okay, so that's what that is. But yeah. Just a side note. But alright. Get into evening to evening, right? Sunset to sunset. The sunset is when the evening begins. Yeah, going with the creation story, which, the 6 day, the 6 days represent the creation account. The 6 days represent like basically a day is as 1,000 years, as 1,000 years is as a day. So the evening and the morning would be like symbolic of the first part of the 1,000 years, and the morning the second part. But so just FYI. But okay, let me get going. Genesis 1, you're gonna see a pattern as I read through Genesis. Genesis 1, in the beginning, power, Elohim, so powers, created the heaven and the earth. Verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of power, there it says Elohim, where it says power, say Elohim, moved upon the face of the waters. Verse 3, and power said, let there be light, and there was light. Verse 4, and power saw the light, that it was good, and powers divided the light from the darkness. Verse 5, and powers called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first days. You notice. Verse 6, and power said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. The firmament. That's a sky, bro. Oh, that's Shemayim. Verse 7, and powers made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. Okay, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Verse 8, and powers called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Verse 9, and powers said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together. Well, you notice evening and the morning again. Yeah. And power said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Verse 10, and power was called dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and power saw that it was good. Yup. Verse 11, and power said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed was in itself upon the earth, and it was so. Verse 12, and the earth brought forth grass, and the herb yielding seed after its kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after its kind, and power saw that it was good. And by the way, the powers that they were creating, the angels, they were creating, Yahushua, start off with Yahushua, right? The only begotten, the first spirit ever created, him and the angels, which include the elect, man, who were with him from the get-go. They were creating what the Most High Yahweh had designed, and they created what the Most High Yahweh designed. Thoughts of the Most High Yahweh, what He had designed. By the way, just FYI. Verse, and whose seed was in itself that after his kind, and power saw that it was good. Verse 13, that was Yapah, right? And the evening and the morning were the third day. The evening and the morning were the third day. So you see a common pattern here, the evening and the morning. The evening and the morning. And and you also see with the Shabbat, the sunset, right? You see with each of these holy days, sunset to sunset, different times. From sunset at this time to sunset at this time. Like from the Day of Atonement. Day of Atonement, for example, right? Sunset to sunset. 9th of the month. 9th of the 7th month. Yeah, man. So even in the morning, you could just look at it. The evening, the first part of the day, I would say from sunset to sunrise, obvious. And in the morning, from the sunrise to the sunset, obvious, right? Hey, and this goes into the months, man. So the days, sunset to sunset, sunset to sunset, evening to evening, 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 the evening and the morning, and the evening and the morning. Evening and the morning were the first day, and the evening and the morning were the second day, and the evening and the morning were the third day. Yep. Verse 14, empower Yahweh said, because it was his thoughts, and it was thoughts of the Most High Yahweh. Thoughts, this is all the thoughts, this is all the design of the Most High Yahweh, all of us. And when the powers created, changing into existence. When the powers said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and for days and years. Yep. Let them be for signs and seasons and days and years. So signs and seasons, right? And days and years. Verse 15, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth, and it was so. Verse 16, and power made two great lights. The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. So the sun and the moon. And he made the stars also. Most High, going into the Most High Yahweh designed this all, man. I just say power Yahweh. The Most High Yahweh designed this all. Verse 7. Yeah, the Most High Yahweh designed it and had the powers angels created. Verse 17. Power Yahweh set him in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. Verse 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And power Yahweh saw that it was good. Right. So yeah, man. Evening and morning, you see that, and you also see the light, why the lights were created, man. And the stars also. The stars also. What they were created for, man. For signs and for seasons and for days and years, and to divide the day from the night. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day, man. The evening and the morning, showing you that days began in the evening. And the second part would be the morning, evening and morning, right? Evening and morning were the fourth day. And also, let me say something else. Let me say something else, and get some scriptures on it, man. The new moon. So the moon cycle, man, start with the new moon, new month. Show you when the month start, right? and when the Shabbat is gonna be, man. When you able to see the moon? When are you able to see the moon? So it makes sense. So it makes sense that the day would start in the evening. Not in the middle of night like Esau says, but in the evening. Let me get this, showing that as well about the moon. The moon for a sign. Yup. Ecclesiasticus. Yup. Shit, hold on. Ecclesiasticus chapter 43 goes into it. Alright, hold up. Hey, check it out. Let me bring it out. Verse 6. He made the moon also, Ecclesiasticus 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign, and the sign of the world. Verse 7. For the moon is a sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. Verse 8. The month is called and a sign of the world, right? For he made the moon, check this out, also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. And a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Verse 7. From the moon is a sign of the world, man. Like signs, man, like signs that, for example, that judgment is coming. Signs that we at the end. One of them is blood moons. Moon turned to blood. That's talking about them lunar eclipses. Yup. That's what that means. Verse 7. From the moon. Yeah, blood moons was historically known as a sign of bad shit about to happen because there is a pattern associated with it. It's not because they were a bunch of, like, they knew, man. Now you had heathens that worship the moon and all that. You're not supposed to do that. Worship the moon and shit. Tripping. And also the end of the rulership of the heathens, that's good for us, man. So we're not supposed to be dismayed at the signs of heaven. No, that's what that goes into. But let me continue. Verse 7. From the moon is a sign of feasts, a light that decreaseth in her perfection. You could tell when the month. You could tell when the month begins. You could tell when it ends. And you could count the days from there. Verse 8. The month is called after her name. The month is called after her name. Month comes from moon, right? Increasing wonderfully in her changing, being the instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven, man. Still having to spit shit out of my mouth. So there you go, man. But yeah, con, man. And hey, man. But Esau tell you, oh, oh, all the planet, Esau tell you, no, it begins on this day. No, the Most High Yahweh was wrong. It begins on this day. Tripping. You know, in a day, it begins in the middle of night, midnight. Trip again. And tripping, man. And the year begins in the middle of winter when everything's dead. That's when everything begins. Tripping, man. Tripping, I'm telling you, man. Trip. Dog. Alright, I thought I seen something else in here, but yeah. Hold on. Let me do this. Alright, let me get when the year actually began, yo. Passover. Yo. Get this. It's like, yo. I'm gonna get these verses. Just gonna finna show you. Finna show y'all. You know. Really, it's the Most High Yahweh. Really, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai showing y'all through me. Exodus chapter 12, verse 1, in Yahweh, where it says Lord in all caps, means Yahweh, it's his name. In the Hebrew manuscripts is his name, Yahweh, meaning he exists. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, verse 2, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. Verse 3, speak ye unto the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. Also something else, according to the house of their fathers, man. We know that a lot. Goes by the man. But, yeah, man, who bears the seed. Let me continue. Verse 4, and if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of his souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. Verse 5, your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. Verse 6, And ye shall keep it unto the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. Verse 7, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door posts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. Before you had the Yahushua, man, before Yahushua died on the cross, man. Yeah, man. This was they actually had to do this, take the blood up and do that as well, because them sacrifices was in place of the Messiah. They was in place of the Messiah. The Messiah, Mashiach, HaMashiach, Yahushua, he didn't die on the cross, for our sins, and didn't raise back up. He didn't offer himself. It hadn't come to that point yet. This is before then. Verse 8, and they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Verse 9, eat not of it raw, nor salted it all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. Verse 10, and ye shall let nothing of it remain unto the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. Verse 11, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover. And purtenance, by the way, is it's the liver, heart, and lungs of an animal. Sodden, obviously imply sodden water, wet. Purtenance is definitely that. The inward parts of an animal, you eat it all, man. You eat it all. Yep. Yep. And really, so the Pesach, it's Pesach in Hebrew. The Passover, it's in the spring. And the month of the Passover is the first of the month, showing you that it begins in the spring. What I was going to go into is nature also shows you that the year begins in the spring. When does everything spring to life, man? When does everything spring to life? In the spring. In the spring. January, December, January, February, those are the cold months. Those are the cold months. I'm just fucking eating right, man. Those are the cold months. That's like the Shabbat. That's like the Shabbat. Like a huge Shabbat. Like a season. A Shabbat season. Not just a day, of course, right? A Shabbat season for the whole world. Pretty much. Why you have the harvest season? Man, oh shit, I thought I stopped recording. Oh, Kala, how about Shim Yahshai, about Shim Kafidah, still recording. I mean, the Most High Yahweh, he really wants to come out, man. I really want this message. We want this message to come out. It's a way of understanding it. The fall is a harvest, right? What? And it's also not just for it's harvest season, for people and for plants. And, well, I mean, shit. And for animals. I meant animals. Misspoke. And for animals. Like bears, for example, right? There's many other animals that hibernate too, not just fucking bears. They're just the most well known. But what do they do? What do they do? What do these other animals do? Especially in regions that get real cold. What do? They're going out gathering food, hunting, all that shit, man. Gathering food and hunting, getting ready for the winter, man. No, even something else, man. For these Edomites that's down here, man. But you even have some Jakes that participate because they gotta do it for survival and shit. What a Jake will do is different than how Edomite do it. But Edomites do it for because they fucking love to do it. They love to shed blood. That's literally why they do it. But yeah, man. When is it though? It's fucking November. The fall. The late fall at that. So that's when they ate up. Or they feeding on them deer feeding on them plants and shit, and they already fed on them. They're like all fed up. They're all like, they're all basically all plump and shit, man. Cause they getting ready, man. They getting ready, especially in the cold areas, bro. Especially in the cold areas, they finna get ready because it's gonna get cold. Cause it's getting cold. It get cold early, man. It's so over there. It's earlier, man. Cause it get cold earlier. But yeah, just showing you that, man. And the trees. They said their leaves turn different colors, man. Then they shed their leaves. Cause fall, right? Nah, the sun like ain't as bright as shit, basically. And ain't as so it ain't as like sun ain't as close and shit, basically. Or ain't as bright, ain't as powerful. So it basically causes basically the plant don't need as much of that chlorophyll shit, man. So they go dormant after that. After their leaves turn like orange and shit, on red and orange, yellow. That's why I associate that with those colors of fall. Red, orange, yellow, and then brown. Then they fall off. For most trees except for evergreen ones. This is why they're called evergreen. Where most of them you'll have that and like them acorn trees. They shed their fucking acorns. Come on. Harvest. Come on, man. Harvest season, all that shit. Harvest season, hunting season, all that shit show that it's in the fall. Show that for animals and for them Edomites and them confused ass speckled birds among them. And It shows, man. It shows. So it's like all of nature is preparing itself for the Shabbat, man. And then for the Shabbat season, which will be AKA winter, right? And it's something about cold weather that make your body want to sleep, man. And make your body want to sleep. When it's cold, it's not as bright. It's not as bright during that season as well. When it's not as bright, UV rays ain't as strong, it's not as bright, and it's cold. Also wet, wet weather does as well because it cools down the environment. So really cold, because it's cold. Your body, when it's cold, your body, it tends to like get sleepy, bro. It'll make you, like, cool rainy weather will make you want to take a nap, man. Straight up, it'll make you want to take a nap. That's another way nature proves it. Your bodies, man. Cool rainy weather will make you sleepy as fuck. And hey, man, it's apparent, man. And when it's hot, you can't sleep, man. When it's hot, you can't sleep. Your body is agitating. It can't sleep. You're sweating. You're sweating. You're sweating and shit. Can't sleep, man. It's working. Your body's working. Sweating. It's doing shit.